Hi, everybody. My name is Lucela Sigalski. I'm the job coach from National Youth Service Center and current member of the Department of Employment Services. And today, I do have a very special person with me from a very special nonprofit organization. And I say special because we've been working together in different ways, and also different departments in our organization. They've been working with this organization as well. The name of my guest speaker today is Erika Shearlds-Hill. So
Yay.
currently, she is working as a career development consultant, and she represents District 1199C. Thank you so much for being with me today and wanting to join me.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Truly, I do. So like I said, I'm Erika Shearlds-Hill. I am the career coach and retention specialist for District 1199C Training and Upgrading Fund. And a little history about District 1199C. We have been in operations for, 46 years. And the premise is from our illustrious leader. It's a union-based organization. So we fight for hospital workers, we fight for labor workers. It's just that fight, making sure that people are definitely taken care of, trained and taken care of when they're working in the healthcare field. Even though we deal with the healthcare field, we also within the training fund, we deal with culinary, we deal with healthcare, and we deal with education, childhood development and education. So even though we are an organization that primarily focuses on the healthcare field, we really are open to a lot of people who are interested in being trained and then interested in going into their careers of training and, just to bloom and blossom. So my job is, as a career coach. So we work with a couple of employers. So in my particular department, we work in the culinary field. We work with Aramark and we work with Unite Here. And together they built this model where Aramark, the employer, along with the training fund and the union Unite Here, talk about, hey, we have a need for people who are skilled, who are trained to come and work for us. So they worked out a plan where, like with our culinary, we have 6 weeks of training where the first 3 weeks are basically what we call the developmental stage. So it's kind of getting you back into school setting, getting back into training, talking about study habits, working with your coworkers, because ultimately the people who are going to transition out of this particular training will work with each other somewhere along the line in Aramark. So how it starts, people go to District 1199C's website and they look at all the different programs that we have available because we have a list. And if you're interested in the culinary, you find the culinary and it gives you a brief description of the job. So like I said, we have 6 weeks of training. 3 weeks are just basically your professional development, a little bit of math and reading to kind of get you, again, back into being in school and training. And then the last 3 weeks is based on your actual training. So you get knife skills, you get cooking skills, you actually work.
That's where they actually start starting the skills they need to.
Yeah, they start skills. And we work with the Philadelphia School District. So we actually have our training. One half of the training is at the training fund on Broad Street. And then the 3 weeks remaining is done on site in a community school, Dobbins High School, which is here in the city. And we actually go into the classroom and it's a kitchen. Like they actually have a whole culinary unit up on their floor. Nice. And so you really get to work with the stove, the knife, the kitchen, and you have a chef who she teaches culinary to the high school students, but she also teaches to our folks who are coming through the training. So you have the 3 weeks. You have
during those 3 weeks is when they're gonna have the classes at the location, the Broad Street location in District 1199C, and then this other place.
Yes. Yes. And so, once they do the 3 and 3, so 6 weeks total, at the end of the training portion of it, they sit for an exam. Because, as a matter of fact, I have, in all that's going on, we had a class that started, and they were 4 days out of finishing before everything shut down.
Oh.
They were 4 days. We've been keeping up with each other and talking with each other through Zoom. And so now today they're going to register to take their Serve Safe exam and their kitchen cook. So at the end of the 6 weeks training, you come out with some great things. Your Serve Safe certification, your American Hotel Lodging Kitchen Cook certification, and because we're partnered with the employer, they're going to be working with Aramark. So they, originally it was designed for them to, once they finish the 6 weeks, they would start working at one of the ballparks.
Okay.
So typically in the spring, we have Citizens Bank Ballpark, and in the fall, we have Wells Fargo.
Okay.
With everything that's going on, Aramark is such a big company. They're still conditionally hired. They just may not go to the ballpark. So we're working with union facilities and hospitals. That's the great thing about having these certifications and this training. It's not just specific to one employer. You really can try to work with other employers who are looking for cooks or dietary professionals. So that's one good thing that has come out of all of this that's going on. But typically it's 6 weeks total. They get professional training, they have their skills training, and then they're employed and start working with an employer, which would be Aramark.
And in these 3 weeks, which is the second phase, during those 3 weeks, is that information they give there is information that is going to help them to pass those 2 exams and get those 2 certifications?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a preparation for them?
Yes, it's
Kind of
definitely
like the GED preparation classes?
Yeah, it really is. You get the skills because you're the same skills, not only for passing those exams, those are the same skills that you're going to need for the job. So, they're learning, of course, they're learning information so they can pass the certification, but ultimately it's the training that they're going to use on the job that the employer is looking for them to be able to do. So they actually get a beautiful knife set. I mean,
Oh, wow, that's nice.
yeah, really it's great. They get a knife set, they get a uniform set, they get a textbook. So everything that you need is not only just for the class, but it's really going to help you what the employer is looking for you to be able to do. And since they're together, they build a team, like they give a team mentality because they have to work together, because they're going to be working in a kitchen, with other people. You really, everything you need to be successful in your job, that's what you get during these 6 weeks. And then after you start working, once they get their certifications and they start working with the employer, part of my job is to kind of follow up with them to see how they're doing, see how they're progressing, to talk about their careers. What do they see themselves doing either within this particular employer or someplace else? So, and then I also talk with the employers, because the employers tell me, hey, they're doing such a great job, or this is a program that we're thinking about doing. I talk to the employers and I ask them, well, how does someone advance? How does someone do different places? Because again, Aramark is huge. So
it's a very big company. Yeah.
It's a very big company. So, the conversation that I have with the employers to say, hey, we have people. So at the end of the baseball season, for example, what do we do with folks that have been trained and how they position? So the employer tells me a lot of times it's just, how well are you performing in the kitchen? So then I have individual conversations with the, folks who've come through the training and say, hey, what do you want to do? What's the plan? Do you want to work at Lincoln Financial? Do you want to move over to the convention center? This particular season may be over, but what's the next step? So it's not a we get you trained and we get you a job and that's it. No.
And that's it.
Yeah, we tell myself and my partner in crime, who is the financial coach, every time we do an orientation or a recruitment event, we talk about what we do. I always tell them, this is the face that you're stuck with for the next 3 to 5 years, because according to our mission, we usually typically follow everybody 3 to 5 years, see how
Wow,
they're,
3 to 5
yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah. So it's been a wonderful, ride. So this particular grant has been going, I think we're on year 4. We're going to year 4. And going into year 4, this is my second year at District 1199, but I feel like I've been here, forever, because it's just very comfortable. And so with this whole model of employer and training combining, we've also developed that model with the Philadelphia Fire Department in terms of our EMT program. So we have another program that just started where Philadelphia said, hey, we have a need to ultimately, we're have a shortage of paramedics. Well, there's steps to becoming a paramedic. So what we've done in coordinating with the fire department is develop a plan where we train people to become EMTs. So now this one is a little bit longer. It usually takes 6 to 8 months.
6 to 8.
Yeah, 6 to 8. So it's very intense, because not only are you learning, again, working as a team, working with coworkers, but you're also working and training to basically be a frontline worker, to be an essential person, to be, I tell them in the orientation, you are superheroes. You are training to be a superhero, because the thing that you'll be able to do, whether it's helping someone breathe or just calming someone's nerve in the middle of a tragedy or some type of chaos, what you're able to do is almost super, So they have the 6, right now it's about 6 months. It's going to go a little bit longer because of the current situation that we're in. But we had a
That
group
typically is 6 months.
Yeah. So they have, again, we go through the whole process. We go to the orientation, people come in and they find out how to become part of the program. And then the great thing about working with employers is the employer really picks who they see will be a good fit for the training, which I absolutely love, because, if it would be left up to me, everyone would get in.
That applies to both parents, Erika?
Yes. The employer.
Also, they are involved in the decision of who is going to be part of the program and who is not.
Because the employers actually pick who they think are, going to be a good fit, which is, like I said, is great, because if it would be left up to me, everyone would get it, but I know everyone is not designed for everything. So, you have to have, because ultimately you want someone to have career success. So who better to be able to pick who's going to work well in the kitchen, who's going to work well in an ambulance or a fire department than the employers themselves. So on our end, we get them in, people say, hey, I'm interested in the program. They come in for the CASA skills testing. We have I do pre-screening interviews with everyone to really get with, why do you want to do this program? And explain more about the program. And then once we get through all of that, we do a couple of professional developments. I usually do their resume, working with the resume, and then coaching them on interviewing skills. And from those people who I feel like they would be good candidates, then I present them to Aramark, or I present them to the EMT, fire department.
And they go to a job interview with them, and that's when they're going to get to decide if that person is going to be part of the program, right?
Yep. And in some cases, like in the Aramark case, we've done for both the parks and different facilities, and they have come to our building to do the interview, but it's still scheduled like a regular job interview. Or
because that's where they initiate their hiring process, pretty much, in other words, right?
So, like with the MT, the fire department actually came into the building and they actually, it was great. They were actually a part of the orientation process, the recruitment process, I should say. They were, we did a presentation. We talked about the program. We talked about District 1199. The fire department and their recruitment team actually came in same time and talked about what it is to be working with the fire department. So it was a lot of collaboration, which is
So
fantastic.
it's pretty much like a hiring event.
Yes, it really is. And then, of course, you go through the process of your paperwork, your application, and all of that. So for the EMT, we had over 300 people sign up to say, hey, we're interested in becoming an EMT. That 300 went from 300 down to 150 who actually
Wow.
registered to go to one of our information sessions.
Okay.
From information session, we went to then the application process, which was the testing, the pre-screen interview. So from there, we went from 150 down to 80, 80 down to 60, and there were only 18 slots available. Like according to the training,
Wow.
how the department, how the Philadelphia department set it up, how the fire
So the
department set
class
up.
was only made for 18 people.
Yes, but I like to say I am the mom.com, and I toot my horn because even though we had 18 slots to fill, I presented the fire department with 21 people. And it really came down to they took all 21.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that was pretty good. So we have this cohort of 21, but we still, they still have a number because they want to do this multiple times during the year. And again, once they get hired, once they pass their national certification and they become EMTs, then, those who are going to move to the fire department are going to move to the fire department. Because sometimes we find that even though the fire department wants you and they put you through this training, you may develop, hey, I may not want to work for the fire department, but I do want to be an EMT. So I also work with other like hospitals and ambulatory companies who, hey, you're certified as an EMT. You may or may not want to go to the fire department, but you can come and work here. So that's the great thing with both the EMT and the culinary is the skills that you get, the certifications that you get, even though we set you up to originally be hired with a particular employer,
Yeah.
still work with that employer or take your skill sets and work elsewhere. So it really is a win-win for everyone.
So there's no they're not obligated then to work for that employer. That's what you're saying. Or there's a requirement because I know there's some programs who actually require after the students graduate to work with them for 1 year or 2 years minimum. Is this the same or not?
The ultimate plan is if Aramark says they want you for this training, it's kind of natural to go with, yeah, you're going to work with Aramark. But because you have the skills, you can also work somewhere else in addition to working at Aramark. So that's a good thing. I mean, we have people who have been handpicked for Aramark. They go through the process, they get their certifications, and then, they start working and they say, this might not be a good fit for me. It's not often that happens. Mostly everyone is kind of happy to go ahead and work with that employer because that's one of the things that I do in the pre-screening. I tell them, listen, you have to invest time in looking into Aramark and really see if it's a fit for you. If it's not a fit for you, then maybe you may not want to do this, and that's fine. But for the most part, most everyone who comes through, they end up wanting to work for the employer that's conditionally hiring them.
Makes sense.
But
So for the EMT, this class is the first class.
Yes, this is our first class. So
and for the culinary, how often do you guys offer this program?
For the culinary,
how often do you run it during the year?
It's typically twice a year. So for the fall and the spring. So we're supposed to have a class in the fall for our Wells Fargo location, but with everything that's going on, we're not sure exactly how we want to do that. So we're talking about that now, but typically we run it twice a year in the spring and in the fall because it's two different locations. Before, when we first started, it was just for one facility. It was just for Citizens Bank Park. And so we only did it once a year because it was for the spring. But Aramark was like, oh, this is great. We have other facilities that you guys can do this for. So this year was the first time that we did Wells Fargo. So now we're doing it twice a year.
What is typically the number you guys have for that class, for that particular program?
Typically anywhere from 11 to up to, I think our largest classes before I came on, the largest class we had was about 20, 21.
So going back to the steps, if for when people want to initiate the process, of, and see if they can join that program in particular. So how the steps are? Can you go back a little bit and explain that
Sure.
again?
So the first thing that happens is we make the announcement. So we share flyers. We put on our website that we're recruiting for the culinary session. And we always have flyers out. So the first thing, the flyers come out, people see the flyers, and we schedule what we call information sessions. And they run at different times. So part of, if you say that you're interested, you have to attend an information session. Because one, it gets us to see who you are and that you're interested. And two, you get to learn about what the program deals with. So we do the information sessions. After we do the information sessions, then we move into those who say that they want to move forward are tested. So we have a test on our premises called the CASA. So it's the skills test. So you take the skills test, and then basically we look at where you score and if you qualify for the program, like within your scoring range, because we do look for a particular scoring
What
range.
type of test is that? I know it's a skill, but what it measures?
It deals with looking at your reading and your math skills.
Reading and math.
Yeah, so for culinary, you definitely need that. You definitely need to understand the recipes, and you definitely need to be able to create the recipes. So we have.
Is there any limitation in terms of age?
18 and over.
18, okay.
18
do they have to have high school diploma or DD?
No, not for the culinary, no.
Not for the culinary. And in terms of documents, there's any particular documents they need to present at some point?
They don't need to present until we get to the last phase of working with Aramark, when Aramark sits for the interview, because Aramark has an application process. So you come to the information session, you're tested, then you have the pre-screening interview. We talk about your how
the one that is with you guys, right?
Right. So we talk about your score, what your plan is. We do a background check, and typically it's just it's the Pennsylvania criminal and your child abuse, because again,
Yeah.
And so then when we get to the phase of you've done well on your everything else, then you can sit for your interview for Aramark. Well, you sit for your interview for Aramark, but you also do your application for Aramark online. And then they have their own things that they require, like in their application process, typical application, your documentations, Social Security card, your ID, all that you need. Typically by that point, it really is Aramark, the employer, who deals with what specific documentation that they need. For us, it's just, we have to have permission to do a Pennsylvania background check and a child abuse check.
Who pays for those clearances? You guys or the candidate? You do.
Yeah, we do. Yep. The whole program, both programs, both the EMT and culinary, everything is free. The only thing that people have to pay for is their time and their commitment. That's the only thing that they pay, they pay for. If this is something that
how many days a week is the class and what the times are?
So for culinary, it's Monday through Thursday. It's in the afternoon. It's typically from 3 to 7. And again, because it's at the high school, so it's after, high school hours. And for the EMT, it's Monday through Friday. It's typically from 8 to 5.
8 to 5.
Yeah. The EMT, you really, because there's so much that you have to learn, it requires more time in the classroom, because you're doing books and you're also doing hands-on. And at some point in time, there's hours that are dedicated to you to actually ride along on the ambulance in the fire department, with other EMTs and paramedics. So that's why with the EMT, it's a little bit longer. Now for the qualifications for the EMT.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Now with the documentation for that, oh my. So the same process, you come to the information session, you take the CASAS exam,
Okay.
And then for us, you have to provide, for EMT, what we actually require is they have to have a driver's license. They have to have their social security card.
Oh, so not the state ID, they must have a driver's license.
They have to have a driver's license. Okay. Because as an EMT, you may be responsible for driving one of the ambulances. So you have to have your driver's license.
Okay.
You have to have a driver's license. You have to have a high school diploma.
Okay.
Or higher education, and you have to have proof of that. You have to have.
Can it be from a high school diploma from their home country, or they will have to get a GED then?
They would have to get it. They would have to get it.
So the program wouldn't accept a high school diploma or a bachelor's degree from a foreign country.
Right. Exactly. They won't, because with the EMT, it's almost basically you're getting a city job. You're getting a city government job. So city government, it's a whole different
way of hiring people.
So you definitely have to have your high school diploma. You have to have your driver's license. You have to be a Philadelphia resident, because again, you're working with the Philadelphia Fire Department. It's a city position. So ultimately you're working for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay.
You have to, because we work with CareerLink, you have to provide your source of income. So if you're receiving benefits, you have to prove that, because we work with CareerLink, because CareerLink also helps them as well. So driver's license, birth certificate, social security card, your education, your income, Pennsylvania, child abuse, FBI. We do Pennsylvania criminal check, and we also do FBI.
So the FBI fingerprinting.
Yep. So with the FBI fingerprints. So again, if you're someone who hasn't been in Pennsylvania if you've been in Pennsylvania for less than 2 years, then there's a whole set of things and documents that you'll have to get in order to get your FBI clearance. There's also a drug test for the EMT. So it's oh my, it's a lot. So with all of that, we pay for all the criminal backgrounds, FBI, FBI, Pennsylvania criminal, and child abuse. We pay for that.
And the drug test.
And the drug test, yes. Yeah. So we pay for all of that. Again, the only thing people have to give up and pay for is their time, their time and their commitment. But again, that program is also free. With this group, and I'm not sure if we're going to continue with it, but this group, we were able to secure some more funds, and they have a stipend that goes along with their training. And with that stipend, currently the stipend is $200 a month. And what they get, of course, you have to come to class. You have to do well on your exams. You have to really put in the time. So you're really getting paid for the time that you put in and what you put in.
Well, I mean, you're studying, right?
Yeah.
They're all students, and they need to dedicate all the time for that.
Yeah. So we pay for the exam, all of that. So, if someone really wants to dedicate their time and they feel like they want to be that type of a superhero, EMT is definitely a place for them. If they feel like they want to give of themselves and cook and share their gift of cooking, because to me, I think that's a gift as well, then they can do the culinary program. So it is interesting. It's definitely interesting. It's great. And we tell people, if you want it, it's here for you to do it. Yeah. And you support system with myself, the financial coach, the employers, so you have it. If you really want it, you have it.
At this point in time, it may be hard to answer the question. Are you guys recruiting people, or have kind of like a waiting list until things are more clear? And see what's gonna happen in the next couple of months.
Eventually, we will be recruiting again. I'm not sure when. I'm not sure when, because with the current EMT program, they were supposed to be finished now, like they're supposed to be sitting for their exam, but we're going to have to extend them into September. So I think the plan is to start recruiting. Maybe in the fall. We're not sure, but we will be recruiting. I'm just not exactly sure when.
So if we do have NSC clients who are interested in either of those programs, so it would be good to let you guys know.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have kind of like a list and in sending like a notification or contact them once you guys are ready for the next recruitment event.
Yes, and we also tell everyone to check out our website, because as we do start recruiting, that's the first place that we go to put out that we're recruiting. So, check our website often. People are more than welcome to send emails. I would say they can send me an email.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, what is the best way to contact you for any of these two programs?
Email and checking our website. Yeah.
And the website for updates.
What I tell people is, I would say wait until after June 15th. That's when we're scheduled to go back into the building. So, you can send emails after June 15th, and I will respond to tell you, hey, we're not recruiting yet. Or once we recruit, I'll make sure that I send you the information. But yeah, I would say email and check our website. I would say July. Honestly, I would say start looking in July.
Yeah, makes
because
sense.
that, since we're planning to go back in June, in latter part of June.
Yeah, it will take time to prepare and plan how things are gonna look like, right, for the next few months.
Yeah.
Before I forget, for the EMT program, there's any limitation in terms of age?
No, they don't have it. You have to be 18. Of course, you have to be 18. You have to be 18, and no, there isn't an age limit, but at some point in time, not necessarily to get into the program, but if you're planning on continuing and trying to get employment with the fire department, there is a physical weight requirement that they go through, that they talk about with you, making sure that you're physically fit and that you're at a certain weight to be able to work in their field.
That's prior to start the program or after they finish the program?
You don't have to have it to get into the program, but we do encourage you to make sure that you're fit and in shape before you go to your final phase of, applying for your position at the fire department.
So they will give you time in case you gotta lose some weight.
Yeah, because what's a little bit different. So with the fire department, they have their fire academy, and they actually do all the calisthenics, and they get people in shape while they're, working and training to become a firefighter or a paramedic. We don't have that, thank God. We don't have that, but we do say to everyone, and we let everyone know what the fire department is looking for in terms of how fit you should be physically.
Okay, just last question in case clients who are gonna watch this video don't know what the EMT stands for.
EMT stands for Emergency Medical Technician.
There you go. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Erika. It has been amazing to have this conversation with you. I think both programs are amazing. I wish I could be younger and have the time to get enrolled. I mean, I think it's amazing. So many certificate programs that are available for the Philadelphia residents. Well, it's amazing. Like, for example, I was talking yesterday with a member from the Philadelphia OIC, and they one of the programs that they currently offer is drone technology program. How cool is that? I mean, I think it's amazing. They have also solar installer program. I mean, that's amazing. And now you're talking about the EMT program. I mean, I think it's amazing.
There's no reason anything that you really desire to be, or what career you want to look in, because it's more than just a job. Anyone can get a job anywhere. And I tell everyone that.
That's true.
Anyone can get a job anywhere. But when you really think about what you're passionate about, that's your career. That's the thing that will make you get up, even if you had a rotten day the day before. It'll make you go back to work because it's your passion. So there are plenty of places for people to fulfill their passion, even if they think, oh, well, I can't do that. Yes, you can. Go for it.
Yeah, that's true. And what I think it makes it more amazing is the fact that it's available and is at no cost, because there's organizations who are paying, or institutions who are paying for that. So it's like you mentioned like a couple times during the video, is all you need is the dedication and the time.
That's it. That's the only thing
it's up to you.
Yeah, that's the only thing that you pay is your time and your dedication. Everything else you don't have to worry about. And I mean, if there's something that comes up during the time that you're in a training, and because life happens, that's why I'm here. That's why my financial coach is there. We're there to help you. If we don't have the answers, we definitely know where we can get them from. Yeah. So, you know, I tell everyone, a closed mouth does not get fed. You know, if you don't ask, if you don't inquire, if you don't say, hey, I'm interested or I need help, then of course it's not going to help you.
Yeah. It's like I always say, the communication on channel always gotta be open.
Yeah, it is. It does.
Yeah, that's how important it is. So, well, once again, thank you so much for joining me. I hopefully am looking forward to see you in person and have an information session with you at some point during this year. Hopefully will be this year. So we can provide this information in person to our clients.
Oh, definitely. And then I said earlier too with you guys, anytime, you know, when I'm off from work, and if you want me to come on over when we're all back together and we talk about, you know, planning the careers and going through interviews, any type of, you know, because it's my passion. My passion is helping people figure out what they want to be when they grow up. You know, that I wish I had someone to work with me to do that. So this in turn is my gift for everyone else. So if anytime you want me to come on over once we're all back together and talk with your folks and just talk about their careers and whatever, just call me.
Thank you so much. That's very inspiring. That is so nice, having the opportunity to listen to what you have to say to me and to all the NSC clients. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for all the time you guys took to watch this video. And as you know, the opportunity is there. Well, not only one, but there's 2 opportunities out there that Erika has to offer you. So if you want or looking for more information, detailed information, you can contact me or you can contact her. Thank you and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.